Okay, so you've just finished the back panel of your Sweet V sweater. And because this is a top-down knit, I want you to imagine that our live stitches are on the bottom, our cast-on stitches are at the top. We want to imagine that that is going to be going over our shoulders, because at this point, we need to be picking up the stitches on the shoulders and working down and working down. Those are going to actually join in the middle for that V-neck. But the way that we're going to do this is we're going to be picking up the stitches on the cast-on edge. Let's go ahead and do that. For the Sweet V sweater, we have our live stitches at the bottom, and then we have our cast-on stitches at the top. Essentially, we are going to pick up these last stitches and we're going to work them in this direction. After we've done that panel, we're going to pick up the first couple stitches and work those down. You're going to notice that we're going to ignore the stitches that are here in the middle. So as the pattern states, you're going to ignore X amount of stitches and pick up the last X amount of stitches depending on your size. When you are finding the stitches to be able to pick up, I always like to bring it over and find where that first loop is. So I know I'm going to ignore these, but you can see that I'm kind of holding them open because I want to make sure that I'm grabbing the right stitch when I'm picking up the last one. So I've found my place and I'm going to pick up those last stitches. So when I am doing that, I'm going to insert my needle into both. I'm going to grab my working yarn and I'm going to knit, leaving a tail because I need to weave that in later. And I am going to pick up those last X amount of stitches that they have in your size. Now that last one is a little tricky at the end, so I'm just going to grab it, make sure that I grab both sides of that stitch and get it set up. At this point, I am now going to work only these stitches going down. My setup row where it has me purling all the way back, this one gets a little bit loosey-goosey because this is where my tail is from using a new working yarn. I just like to pull my tail, hold it, and then work it. At that point, I know that knots are naughty, but I like to secure my piece one more time. So I kind of give that a tie. From there, you are ready to start working down and increasing. Once you have finished your first panel, this is your left-hand side. Imagine this goes on your shoulders. This comes over your left shoulder. We are now going to pick up the right panel, which is going to be these first few stitches, and we are going to work them down as well. You're now going to see that you have these stitches on hold and then these ones in the middle. This is actually the nape of your neck, so we're not going to touch those until we actually come to the collar, but we're going to work these down. Your piece should now look like this. Essentially in the last row, we asked you to repeat row 1. So you should have your yarn coming out from the right needle, about to go into the next one and join. But don't worry, we're going to do that in the next video.